Yes, mga mayong adlaw ka na itong tanan. Welcome din sa itong panangguban. Sa itong tuluman ng Tambayan sa Radyo Pilipinas, no? Anyways, mga katambayan, kamusta man mo diha, no? Gano'n nga po na mga igal, no? Itong hisgotan na medyo seryosong butang, no? Dili kita mo kano kagahapon or other day ba, no? Kung ano, katustorya na itong osteo, bone and joints, mga igala no kung saan makaiwas sa kuno osteoporosis sa sabay dahilan mga igala ng osteoporosis mga igala no mga igala no signs of kuno gid siguro ko tigulang na gid siguro ko kay kana naman nga mga topic akong ginatambayan ko but anyways mga katambayan dili ka na tong kuno no kay medyo kani mas serious ni siya no kay mudaghan og naga-suffer ani nga mga sakit no and kasagaran nato nga kuno siya mga igala is nasa critical stage no kaning ginatawag nato nga cancer mga igala no. So unsa ba gid ang cancer gid ay no? Actually basic lang ta sa cancer mga igala. Actually daghang klase sa cancer. Ay kanang ang usual na to is leukemia no, na siya prostate sa mga lalaki, breast cancer sa mga babae, ngay lung cancer ug uban pa no. So mo na ang mga igala mo na ang tawagan ni mo na is mga kwadno nga medyo traidor siya na sakit. Well, di siya ng traidor in the sense kay ang Pilipino manggod mga igala no. Diha na magpa-check up kung grabe na. So wala mo gud tayo mo bitaw na nga si PhilHealth mga igala na ay konsulta package no. Para dili na maabot unta sa punto nga kuan na grabe na ang sakit. To gina bati no. So anyways mga igala na ani agatong milabayng kuan while joining no katong kuan katong unsa ganito nga event gani sa unsa ni SM Ecolan last Monday no katong kuan beautiful great echoes of strength and hope choral show mga igala no gidiscuss mga igala no or gidiscuss no sa ka doktor mga igala no atong kuan mga igala para sure no gidiscuss si doctor kuan mga igala no Jose Beltran Jr. mga igala ang kining kuan mga igala kan lang basic lang sa cancer kung asa ni makuha mga igala. So alang sa ubang impormasyon angin nato masabtan og may baw-an mga katambayan no ato paminaw no ang nahimong gamay information lang no during aning activity last Monday may igala pinaagi ni Sir Jose ni Dr. Jose Beltran Jr. Atong paminawon.
Treatment, of course, the prognosis is favorable. 1 out of 4 in your sickmates will have cancer. Takot, no? But they can be prevented. Now, as far as breast cancer is concerned, globally, there are 2.3 million females or women in the world have cancer. The Philippines has its highest breast cancer among Southeast Asia, or 1 out of 13 Filipinas have breast cancer. In sub-Saharan Africa, 30% of those with breast cancer diagnosed are in the late stage, compared to only 10% in developed countries. They say that the worldwide trend of stage 4 cancer has been going down from 36 to 12% in the span of 15 years. And the advanced stage breast cancer occurs less frequently in the young, but more of the old. No? But if you get a breast cancer in the young, like 15 years old, 17 years old, they are more deadly. In the Philippines, 65% of breast cancer are in the late stage 4. Especially the elderly and the financially challenged, the poor. Prognosis, 5-year survival rate, depends on the stage. No? Early stage, stage 1, you have a 100% survival rate. Pero kung nasa stage 4 na, 25% na lang ang survival rate. So lung cancer, in 2020, it accounts for 2.2 million cases worldwide. And out of this, 1.8 million die. It is the most common cause of death as far as cancer is concerned, lung cancer. It is highest in Asia, followed by Europe. And it is the second most common cancer globally after breast cancer. So worldwide, the number one is breast, followed by lung cancer. Now in the Philippines, the new cases accounts for 189,000, and 14% of this is breast cancer. So 189,000, approximately 113,000 plus die in a year. And breast cancer accounts for about close to 9% of these deaths. Globally, there are 670,000 females or women who die of breast cancer. The 5-year prevalence rate in the Philippines is almost 500,000 Filipinos with breast cancer. And 50% do not have risk factors. So in the Philippines, the top 3 cancers are, number 1, breast, followed by lung, and the third is colorectal cancer. So majority of these cancers are sporadic, 90 to 95%. Only 10 to 15% are hereditary. So there are genes responsible for the development of cancer, like for the breast, BRCA1 and 2. If you remember, si Angelina Jolie, nagtatanggal ng boobs because of this gene. So there are also genes for lung cancer as well as colorectal. Now for sporadic, it is an interplay between the genes and the environment. No? We have different carcinogens like physical, chemical, and biological. Another risk factor is the immune system. Pag pumalya na yung immune system mo, problema na. Kasi hindi na nila ma-detect yung cancer cells. Okay? Then, there are also other risk factors. The WHO developed a classification of different carcinogens from a certain or known carcinogen, probable, possible, non-carcinogen. So what are these physical carcinogens? One is the ultraviolet radiation, o ionizing radiation. Sino ang delikado dito? Mga piloto, flight attendants, frequent flyers. So if you fly more than 137,000 kilometers per year, high risk ka for cancer of hematologic cancer, no? Like leukemia, breast cancer, and skin cancer. No? So, frequent flyers, if you fly 6 times a year going to the United States, Manila, LA, 6 flights round trip per year. Or if you go to Manila, if you fly more than 72 round trip flights from Davao to Manila, at risk na po kayo. Okay? Especially those who fly through the North Pole, transpolar. Kasi dun sa North Pole, manipis na yung ozone. So, walang protection ng radiation from the sun. And those nagpa-sun bath from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., very risky yan for skin cancer. Next physical agent is X-ray and gamma radiation. So, yung nasa X-ray department o palagi nagpapa-X-ray, you're allowed only 100 millisievert per year or an average of 25 CT scans per year for adults or 12 CT scans for children per year. How about X-ray? You need 5,000 X-rays per year para makadevelop ka ng cancer. Wala naman siguro nagpapa-X-ray na 5,000 a year. Next. So, another will be non-ionizing radiation, like if you live at the tower of Davao light, or microwave, cell phone power, no? You might be at risk for developing leukemia, glioma, or acoustic neuroma. Chemical carcinogens like asbestos, pero wala nang gumagamit ng asbestos ngayon, no? Asphalt shingles, yes, marami pang gumagamit. There's a risk also. Diesel fumes, decaffeinated coffee, sino yung iminom ng decaffeinated coffee? Risk yan because they use formalin to tanggal the caffeine. So careful. Or those who are into farming pesticides, no? They are carcinogens. Of course, tobacco, cigarette, welding fumes, paints, parabens and phthalates. These are xenoestrogens. Itong parabens, preservative ito sa mga cosmetics, no? So, kung mahilig kayo mag-lotion, careful. Kasi may preservative, no? So, as much as possible, wag lang mag-lotion. Ito, food and drinks. Number 1, alcohol. Ang sarap ng alcohol. Oh. So, it can damage the lining of the esophagus. No? Alcohol increases estrogen and the risk for breast cancer. Not only breast, but also liver and colon due to the acetaldehyde, which is a metabolite of alcohol. They damage the DNA. So kung hindi mo talaga ma-control, just limit alcohol. 12 ounces of beer per day, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of liquor per day. This is based on Australian studies rather. Salted fish. Sinong kumakain ng bulad? No? Oy, naku, ang dami. You are at risk for nasopharyngeal carcinoma based on a Canadian study. Ito, processed foods. Favorite natin to, no? Bacon, sausage, hot dogs, they contain nitrite preservatives, no? So if you eat 4 bacons or 1 hot dog every breakfast, you are at risk for colorectal cancer. By 18%. How about red meat? Wow, sarap nito, red meat, no? It increases the risk of colorectal cancer, especially well done. Yung sunog, pagod, yan. There are nitroso compounds there. So, limit your red meat to 100 grams thrice a week. Acrylamide and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons found in cooking oil. So, those mahilig sa French fries or sa fried chicken, delikado yan. Especially those with recycled cooking oil. Diba? Meron dyan sa tabi-tabi, recycled yan, no? The more that you will develop colon cancer because of this acrylamide and aldehydes. Hot beverages and soup, do not eat or drink it immediately. Let it cool because it can damage the esophagus and can cause cancer. Soda. No? If you are 45 years old male and you drink soft drink daily, you have a 40% risk of developing prostate cancer based on a Swedish study. Salmon, no? Rich in omega-3. So depende, just take a look at your salmon. If your salmon comes from the west, no? That's Atlantic salmon. Farmed yan. Mataas ang level ng organic pollutants. Pero kung Pacific salmon, They are in the wild, so they have less pollutants. Ito, pasta, bread, spaghetti. Wow. If you take this regularly, you have a higher risk of lung cancer. Canned goods, no? And bottled water. This bottled water, there's a process called leaching, no? When you expose your bottled water in the heat, it will release bisphenol A and polyethylene terephthalate with antimony, and these are known carcinogen. So remember, do not leave your bottled water in your car. Kasi pag mainit yan, mag-release yun itong chemicals and can cause cancer. Okay? And also, check the expiration date of your bottled water. Dapat 2 years lang yan. More than that, delikado na ito. So, aflatoxin from peanut butter, no, can cause liver cancer. Drugs, antibiotics, chemo, even hormones can cause cancer. Biological carcinogens, these are the viruses and the bacteria that can cause cancer. So number 1 is human papilloma virus, no? Cervical cancer yan. Hepatitis virus, liver cancer. HIV, Kaposi sarcoma, herpes, no? Cervical cancer, Helicobacter pylori, yung nagkakos ng gastric ulcer, it can cause also gastric cancer. Schistosomum matubium, it is a parasite endemic in northern Davao, no? It can cause liver cancer. And any defect in your immune system, no? If you are immunocompromised, no, malnourished, if you are old, you have a problem with detecting the cancer cells. Now, there are also other risk factors for breast cancer. Menarche at less than 12, or menarche or first menstruation, younger than 12 years old, or late menopause, more than 55 years old. And all those who have never been pregnant, never had a child, or never had breastfeeding are also risk for breast cancer. Now, ito, bago lang ito this is very new, no? Obesity and cancer. What do you mean by obese? If your body mass index is more than 30, you compute your BMI, no? Kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. Dapat nasa 18 to 24 lang kayo. More than 24 or 25 to 30, that's already overweight. More than 30, obese. Okay. You have double the risk for so many malignancies. In fact, 4% of all patients with cancer are obese. No? And it leads to poor quality of life, poor survival, recurrence of malignancies, etc., etc. So, bakit prone ang obese sa cancer? Because of estrogen. No? Or there are insulin-like growth factors that promotes growth of cells, including cancer cells. Chronic inflammation that leads to DNA damage. And there are also hormones like leptin that promotes cell proliferation or cell growth. Okay, another is autoimmune diseases, no? Common dito, lupus, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis. This is due to chronic inflammation and DNA damage. And the treatment for this autoimmune disease are immunosuppressant. So they weaken your immune system. The more that your immune system cannot detect your cancer cells. No? All of us have cancer cells, but our immune system will detect it and kill it. But with the suppression of your immune system, nakakalusot si cancer cells. So you have a secondary malignancies like secondary leukemia or lymphoma. So for those with autoimmune disease, malignancies like lung cancer, prostate, bladder are also high. And for those with psoriasis, they are prone to or higher risk for breast cancer. So what are the treatment options? We have surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and now we have immunotherapy. No? This is not directed to the cancer cells, but directed to the immune system. And there are other new modalities available. Surgery could either be conventional. If you have breast cancer, you have mastectomy, prostate cancer, prostatectomy, colon cancer, colectomy, so on and so forth. And there is also robotic surgery, no? And locoregional ablation. What do you mean by this? That portion of the body with cancer can be destroyed by either heat or cold, no? Cryotherapy, that is freezing temperature. Radio frequency, that's high temperature. And microwave ablation. This is performed in patients with liver cancer, no? They burn the cancer cells in the liver. Or those with breast cancer, they burn it using radio frequency or microwave. Now, radiotherapy can cause direct damage to the DNA or via free radical formation. So it could either be stereotactic, like linear accelerator, which is available here in Davao, and the newest one is the proton beam radiotherapy. We still don't have, I think, here proton beam, but our neighboring countries in Singapore and Hong Kong, they have this already. So radiotherapy can either be curative, so cancer-free, or palliative. Palliative, when you say palliative, it's just extending the life, no? Quality of life of these patients. So either radiotherapy could either be external beam or internal. So this, to the left is the external beam linear accelerator, and then to the right are the internal beam of brachytherapy.
So mo to mga igala no, ang ato ang unang kuno hugna sa to ang kuno ito nahimong murag mini lecture ni kuan ni Dr. pangalan na ni Dr. Ito doktora to mga igala nakalimot ko. Ni Dr. Beltran mga igala no with regards ani cancer. Anyways, mga katambayan, padayon nga po ito ng hisgutan, no? Sa itong pagbalik, mga igala, human lang sa mga importante, pinumdum ning atong sibianan. So, balik na mga igala, no? Dito sa itong panaguban, sa itong tulumanong tambayan sa Radyo Pilipinas, no? Anyways, mga katambayan, din nato langanon, no? Kaya ito anang, ano, no? Kay murag, daghan patag dapat may bawaan mga igala, no? With regards, aning cancer. Actually, daghan naman mga YouTube videos diya sa ito ang social media, no? Pero mas may po nang higutan pa natin na diri sa ito ang programa, no? Anyways, mga igala, kung na ito, balik mga igala, no? Si Dr. Jose Beltran Jr., mga igala, ano lang sa iyang hisgutanan about cancer.
So chemotherapy, there are a lot of drugs, no? This is a new one, immunotherapy. Recently, they have discovered I think in the late 90s, they have this immune checkpoint inhibitors. This are actually breaks, no? Ang immune cells have their breaks through these immune checkpoints, no? And cancer cells stimulate these breaks so that the immune cells will not kill the cancer cells. So there is now a new drug, a monoclonal antibody that will prevent the cancer cells from telling the immune cells to stop attacking them. So that is the ICIs, the immune checkpoint inhibitors. So another will be exopolysaccharide. So bacteria in our gut, in our intestines, will produce substances that will tell our immune system to go to the cancer cells. Go, 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 go there. And these immune cells will tell the other immune cells, the cytotoxic T cells, these are the army of our immune system. They will invite the army to kill the cancer cells. Then we also have the T-cell transfer therapy. Okay? The most popular is the CART, or the chimeric antigen receptor therapy. What are these? Kinukuha yung lymphocytes mo or the immune cells in your body, pinaparami na in a laboratory, and then pag marami na sila, i-inject balik sa'yo. There are also technology that will tell your immune cells that these are the cancer cells and you should attack these. This is now available in the United States. I don't know if right here in the Philippines. Then we also have CSS to increase production of red blood cells, white blood cells, and the experimental tumor vaccines. This will prevent recurrence of breast cancer from 26% to 6%, but this is still experimental. I think it is now on its phase 2 trial and will be available perhaps 10 to 20 years from now. Then we also have enzyme inhibitors, anti-angiogenesis. What do you mean by this? They destroy the blood vessels that feeds on the cancer cells, and also monoclonal antibodies. And anti-hormones, no? Anti-androgens for prostate cancer, anti-estrogens for breast cancer. And lately, we have this oncolytic virotherapy. What is this? Actually, this is an old concept way back in the late 1800s by Dr. William Coley, a surgical oncologist in New York. What he did before was they killed the bacteria, Streptococcus and Serratia, and then inject it into a cancer cell. So what happened? The immune system was triggered and that killed the dead bacteria, including the cancer cells. So what is this? Recombinant oncolytic poliovirus in a patient with GBM or glioblastoma multiforme. This is a deadly brain cancer. 6 months lang ang survival nito. So, there was a nurse who had this tumor and volunteered to be a subject for this treatment. So a dead polio virus was injected into her brain tumor. And lo and behold, from 6 months, she survived 8 years. So this is a new treatment in cancer. So there are also drugs that minimize side effects to the kidneys, to the heart, and to the bladder. And this one, metabolic therapy. This is based on the theory of mitochondrial metabolic defect. No? In our cells, meron yung mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. And they discovered that any defect in the mitochondria could release reactive oxygen species that is toxic to the nucleus of the cell containing DNA. So the cancer cells feed on glucose and glutamine. That's why there is a molecule that can attack this glutamine. No? It was tested on a mouse in the United States. No? A mouse with brain tumor. And lastly, we have this gene editing or CRISPR. No? This was discovered by a Japanese investigator in 1987. So they remove a portion of your gene and replace it with another portion. No? They back. And in 2019, they had this experiment in a University of Pennsylvania for patients with myeloma and sarcoma. Response rate ranged from 30 to 40% for brain, colorectal, and liver disease. Unfortunately, the cost is $3 million. So, hindi kaya ng Pinoy. Kahit na yung bumibili ng Patek Philippe or Hermes, hindi niya yan kaya. Ganun kamahal. So next, during the treatment of chemotherapy, there may be resistance due to mutation, or problem with the delivery of chemotherapy to the cancer cells, or the cancer cells become very, very wise. No? They repair their DNA or even destroy the chemotherapeutic agent. So how do we prevent? Of course, by early screening, vaccinations, and control of occupational hazards. Stop smoking and alcohol as much as possible. So, you eat a healthy diet, no? Not the fatty one. Sarap pa naman ng pizza. So, olive oil, those with high in omega-3 fatty acids. Avocado, parang mahal ng avocado ngayon, parang 370 per kilo because we export it to Korea for cosmetics. And then veggies. You cook veggies by steam, no? Not fried. Okay. Boost your immune system by taking herbs and spices and fresh vegetables. Berries. Modifying factors and avoiding risks like exercise, Zumba. May Zumba ba? And then control your urge because sexually transmitted diseases are risks like HIV and cervical cancer and illicit drug use. Bawal ang pulburon. Then stay away from polluted air and radiation. And last but not the least, and the most important, avoid stress. Because stress is the #1 killer. Do you agree? Yeah. Okay, to summarize, cancer continues to be a global health concern and economic burden. Various causes and risks are now identified. There are new innovations as well in diagnosis and treatment. Preventive measures should be prioritized, especially proactive advocacies from the government and the private sector. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
So, mo to mga katambayan, no? Dagan tong mga lecture ba nen sa kan ba? Dagan kay mga pagkaon ba nga mga gumakauna nakakaron ba nga daghan kag makuha daghang mga pagkaon na pwede di ka makakuha og cancer, no? So maguna-una ka kung unsa ba sundon ba nimo to live longer or kuan magmamalipay pwede depende na sa mga igalan, no? Pwede mo ta mukaon ani nga mga butang nga mga igalan mga pagkaon, no? No, pero kuan siya dapat in moderation, no? Di ba ayo ganang alcohol ug sigarilyo mga katambayan, no, kay nanganing gid mo diha gid, no, daghan kang makuha nga sakit ana, no. Di lang kay cancer siguro, di lang siguro kay cancer. So ato nang iwasan mga igala, no, ang kuan. So daghan na ta din hinno kay sige na ta og discuss diri about medical mga igala since last week Friday pa to, so kato nag field trip ta didto sa DMSF mga igala, no. So kay og maatong hisgutan mga igala. Okay. Anyways, mga igala, mao ka na ang naglangkob sa ato ang panag-uban karong adlaw mga igala, no, sa ngalan sa tibuok pwersa sa diag sa Radyo Pilipinas Davao mga igala. Ako ino kaban Armando Feniquito. Alang sa tuang tambayan sa Radyo Pilipinas. Salamat o mayong hapon kanatong tanan amping ta kanunay mga katambayan.